Oh, yes, I'm just looking at this Geneva Convention of the 12th of August, 1949. Any of the following acts against persons or property protected under the provisions of the relevant Geneva Convention? Yes. Torture or inhumane treatment, including biological experiments? Yes. Willfully causing great suffering or serious injury to body or health? Extensive destruction and appropriation of property not justified by military necessity and carrying out and carried out unlawfully and wantonly. Now, this compelling a prisoner of war or other protected person to serve in the forces of the hostile power. Yeah. And willfully depriving a person of war or protected person of the rights of fair trial. Now, there's what's known as bullet point number 14, declaring abolished, suspended, or inadmissible in any court of law the rights and actions of the nationals of the hostile party. Now, as a civilian, yes, somebody had declared that they were going to abolish, suspend, and make admissible in court my due process rights, yes, my equal protections, right, privileges and immunities, yes. And then there's that appropriating of my inheritances. Oh, now when you consider that I might have an inheritance, I mean, my grandmother died a few years ago. Yes, but my relatives didn't include me in that death. Poach. I never saw a will or a probated estate. Yes. It seems that the family has been using the judicial system to appropriate property that they have no legal right to. Pooch. Then there's that big question of Elmer and Verna Holst. Yes. Did they have any property that I have any right to? And then there's Edward Budnick and his well to the aquifer and that water in Arizona. Yes. And then there was the Griggs side. Do my sons have any right to the saltpeter mines in Georgia? Pooh, choo, 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 choo. Then there was the Arp side. My biological grandfather, Raymond Arthur Arp. Yes. Now, I know he passed away a long time ago, but I'm his actual biological grandson, and I wondered, did you appropriate some property because you wanted my relatives to have guardianship over myself? You thought, well, we'll put him in a mental institution, we'll disappear the citizen, and then they'll run in and save the day a year later after you've taken my brains, pooch, and say, no, you've got to let my son out of the mental institution. We have to inform him that he has a large inheritance that we have control of because we bribed all the judges in Clallam County. Oh, you paid for the shows, Wayne and Lori and Sandy, Poe, and Doug Taylor's involvement, my stepfather. Now, when I think of all the money that's came and how much you paid to obstruct my rights, you've abolished the actual requirements of the RCWs? Yes. We can require restoration treatment without the actual documented evidence that you're going to base your reason for the 2-count criminal complaints? Yes! And you did all that for free. There was nobody paying you to do it. You didn't think that, well, you're going to get a large part of this inheritance once we have Paul put in a mental institution because we're going to use the violating of the laws of the United States to appropriate property that actually belongs to Paul because we filed 2-count criminal complaints without any constituted documentation. Now, in an international court of law, yes, one of these ICCs, yes, I would think that if I found out, okay, that you have intentionally appropriated all my public property for your personal use, I can prove corruption, kidnapping, and child abduction. Now, I know, you're sitting there, and the chief of fucking police